So we've all watched a shonen anime. Be it Dragon Ball, be it Hunter x Hunter, be it Naruto, be it One Piece. I'm pretty sure everyone in their time has watched a shonen anime. But the shonen anime that pops out to me the most whenever I think of shonen is the story Yu Hakusho. Yu Hakusho is very different to me for one main reason. The main character, Yusuke Urameshi. Why is he different? Well, let's talk about that. Yusuke grew up in a little town in Japan. He was a street punk, everyone was afraid of him, people even thought they were gonna, he eats people. But no, he's just kind of a hoodlum that gets in fights all the time, that's just kind of his way of living. And everyone's afraid of him, no one wants to be involved with him other than his, not girlfriend, but, friend Keiko. And some people are more involved with him than others, like Kuwabara. Before they became good friends, they were frenemies, they had a friendly rivalry. Well, at least on Kuwabara's end, they had a friendly rivalry, but with Yusuke, there was no friendly at all. All of his teachers hated him. They called him a cockroach behind his back. They said all these horrible things behind his back, and they wanted him gone. They were happy he was dead. But all along, through this story, you find out that Yusuke's actually got a pretty good heart of gold. When it comes to the way he talks to Keiko, just the way that he just gets wrapped up in horrible situations, and you realize that maybe the reason he's bad isn't because of his own actions. Maybe it's because a lot of it is circumstance, just bad situation, wrong time, wrong place. And that's kind of what it looked like from that first episode. And to add on to that, it ends with Yusuke telling a kid to not play with a ball in the street. Yusuke, who should have been a dick, just ignore the kid, he made the kid happy, and he joked around, and he had a little bit of fun, and really showed that he did like kids, and that he did have a little bit of a soft spot in his heart for people. But then, the kid didn't listen to Yusuke's warning, and Yusuke saved the kid, but at a loss of his own life. And that was so mind-blowing that the gods themselves, or heaven, or whatever you want to call them, Koenma, his goons, didn't even expect Yusuke to die. So he was an outlier. He wasn't supposed to die. That was totally not in the books. His fate was not written that way. So Yusuke got an ordeal, and he had to pretty much prove that people cared about him, and he had a realization. And from there on out, we got this really interesting character. So why do I like Yusuke Urameshi, and why did I name this video that? Because when I think of Yusuke, I don't think of, for example, Goku. Optimistic, fun-loving, serious when he needs to be. Gone. Fun-loving, optimistic, fun when he needs to be at the start. I know Gon gets a little different near the end, but at the start, that's what he was. When you open that book, that's what you see. You get Shonen Protagonist. Naruto. He's a little bit of a dick, he's a little bit snarky, but he tends to be a very positive, optimistic person, usually. And Luffy. Super headstrong, super positive, he's just the epitome of, happy-go-lucky shonen character. That is why, when I look at Yusuke, I see something different. I see this sarcastic kid that doesn't take anyone's bullshit, who makes fun of his enemies more than anything. He's kind of like Spider-Man, and why a lot of people like him. He's snarky, he's always in the fray, he's always in their face. He's kind of like the underdog, but not the underdog always at the same time. He's super cocky, he's funny, he's really cool. And you don't get that a lot in anime. You don't get that douchebag main character that's somehow lovable. It's weird, isn't it? A lovable protagonist that's a dick. That's not in a seinen or something like that. No, this isn't a seinen, this is a shonen. This is in the heyday of shonen. Well, that's subjective, I guess, but more in the Dragon Ball era, between the Dragon Ball era and Naruto era kind of deals, but you get what I mean. Now, Dragon Ball era never ended, let's be fair. Yusuke is different, and the reason why I love him, he is a genuine breath of fresh air. When I watch shonen, and I see the Midoriyas and the Luffys, and by the way, Midoriya is like the same thing. They're all just very samey at the beginning. When on the book, like the cover of their book, that's what they look like. They are your optimistic shonen protagonist. Obviously, when you get into their book, they're a lot more deeper and complex, right? When you get past their maybe 3 episodes or whatever, you learn more about them, and they're deeper than that. Maybe not Goku, but you know what I mean. Yusuke, on the other hand, he's painted almost like the Lancer of his series. Like, there should be an optimistic character that is the protagonist in his world, which is Kuwabara. Yeah, I was really surprised, and I looked up on TV tropes, actually, and I found out that Kuwabara is Yusuke's Lancer. If you don't know what a Lancer is, think Vegeta to Goku, think Sasuke to Naruto. That's kind of the same gist. It's the Lancer is that character that's on the side that pretty much fills out the main character. You know, like, they're brute strength and they're in the back. You know, because Yusuke has a spirit gun, he has the spirit sword, or Kuwabara has a spirit sword, should I say, maybe, yeah. The optimistic shonen protagonist that I love to death is Kuwabara. But Yusuke is our real protagonist. And he should be the Lancer, but he's not. And that's really interesting. We finally get to really focus on the Lancer as the main character. Then you inject the Lancer with more protagonist appeal. The more we go on, like in the Saint Beast arc and onward, you learn that Yusuke has this crazy bond with his friends that, without really looking into it, you never really would have gotten at first. In the Saint Beast arc, when Kuwabara is fighting the White Tiger, I think his name is Byakko. Yes, I'm pretty sure that's right. Yusuke is constantly yelling for Kuwabara to tag him. He doesn't want Kuwabara to get hurt. He desperately cares for this dimwit that just wants to pick a fight with him every other day. At first, in the beginning of the series, Yusuke wanted nothing to do with Kuwabara. But in this moment, after they kind of had a bonding session with Genkai, and they're kind of on a level playing field, and that's someone that Yusuke can share his troubles with on a leveled mind, Yusuke finally cares. Yusuke finally starts to see Kuwabara as a friend and not an annoyance, which is kind of crazy when you look at Yusuke at the beginning. Yusuke's journey is the journey of a Lancer, but he's the protagonist. I find that so interesting and different, because you'd have to go to like a seinen or something else to get this kind of story, but no, this is your generic shonen anime, right? But Yusuke develops. He goes from this cold demeanor character into a very humble, still cocky, still fun, but caring person. Then we get into the Demon World arc, or the Demon Tournament arc. You see a lot Yusuke getting a little rocky with the whole spoilers, by the way. I'm gonna give you a little bit of breathing time. Yusuke is okay with demons eating humans. And I guess through Yusuke's more headstrong mindset, and I guess him living more on the logical end other than the fantastical end, not fantastical, like, I don't even know how to say that, like, whatever, you know what I mean, like the more like, come on dude, that's not okay, like, kind of way. He has more of a realistic mindset, like, if demons eat humans, they gotta eat, or else they die. If we didn't have food, then what would we do? If you told us that humans can't eat, then the fuck do you expect us to do? We're gonna eat, we're gonna find a way, because that's how we live. And that's the way the demons live. And Yusuke just kind of accepted that, which I don't think devalues Yusuke's character development. I think it just shows Yusuke taking on a different outlook after the last arc. He learned about his demon blood. He's starting to learn about a new world that he is a part of. New horizons are opened. And I feel like that just makes Yusuke all the more interesting. That all along, this kid with all this potential had this super rough backstory. Well, not rough backstory, but like, you know what I mean. He was kind of a rough kid. And he just did whatever he needed to do to get what he wanted. And now you learn that he's a demon. He's been fighting it his whole life. Yusuke has never taken a life until he started to become spirit detective. Kind of dawned on Yusuke that, like, this is just real life. This is just how it is. And then he wanted to join the demon world and potentially have a really fun fight out of it to learn about himself. That whole thing, that whole tournament was about Yusuke learning about who he is, what he is. And in the end, Yusuke is Yusuke. He's not his demon granddaddy. He's not just your everyday human. He's not a spirit detective either. He's him. And, you know, in a world where everybody wants to be Hokage and Pirate King and Wizard King, you know, it's kind of just nice to have a character just be like, what am I and the hell am I doing here? Like, what is my purpose? What am I doing wrong? And Yusuke figured that out. Yusuke had to do it a very crazy way, literally bringing all the tribes of the demon world together to vote for president with bloodshed, and it's awesome, but that's what he needed. From what I understand, it did him well. To top it all off, I'm going to reiterate one more time. The reason why I love Yusuke more than any other shonen protagonist is because he's refreshing. Yusuke stands above all of them because he's different. He lives in a time with a lot more realism. People aren't as cut and dry as people like Goku, Midoriya, Asta, etc. Not everyone's optimistic. Not everyone is so nice and kind. A lot of us are cynical. A lot of us are sarcastic. And a lot of us didn't come from the best life. A lot of us use our words to cope. And I think that's what Yusuke does. Finally, seeing a character that doesn't give a fuck and he just tells you how it is. Other than, you know, like, let's be friends, you know, like, be all buddy-buddy. And the thing is, Yusuke does that. He is very friendly to people who are his enemies. Like, look at Hiei. When they were in the castle during the Saint Beast arc, he trusted Hiei to lift up the rock that was crushing them. Here's Yusuke, thinking about it, being a little bit more real with it, and being like, I trust you, and he did it, and Yusuke's trust was valid. Hiei isn't black and white. He's very many shades of gray, mostly on the darker end, but, you know, at first, he's in the darker end. I love Hiei. He's my favorite, but obviously because I'm an edgelord, but whatever. Sidebar, back on topic. Yusuke's just different. Yusuke is a character that I think a lot of people need. He's a character that a lot of people can relate to. Yes, he's a bit of a power fantasy, and you don't really learn any lessons from Yusuke other than your basics. But instead of learning the power of friendship, I think Yusuke more understands the price of loneliness. The price of being a renegade. And what that really means. Because, for another example, I remember when Genkai was giving Yusuke the spirit wave technique. Yusuke was in agony. Because he couldn't collect himself. He didn't have a focus for that pain. He was just letting it shoot out of every pore of his body. But it took needing to save Pooh to finally give that power focus. To make that power a part of him. And it became one with him. He now has the power of the spirit wave. Because he needed to learn that his focus is the people he cares about. But at the same time, Yusuke still has his grit, which I will always love. I'm rambling at this point. I think I got my point across really well. Well, thank you for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed this new kind of format that I did. Because this was me just shotgunning my thoughts. This was no notes. A little bit of prep. Like, I watched a lot of Yu Hakusho to prepare for this. And I just kind of jumped into it and made a video, and I just kind of wanted to see how it came out, and I want to see what you guys thought. So please tell me in the comments below about how I did or how I can fix it, because I really just like the idea of just shotgunning my opinions on something without having to write a script or having to do anything else. I feel like this is a nice side thing to my main Coletaku series, which is scripted and, you know, a lot more structured. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'd like to thank ChrisRWS for the intro, Kait L.B for all the art, Trev Z for my logo, and Kyle Brook for all my music that you've been hearing in this entire video. And that's about it. And thank you to everyone that helped me make this video and everyone that's been by my side this whole time. See you guys next time.